Oh, shoot, what? Oh, no. Oh, imagine they no-shield this. Yeah, they have nowhere to go. They actually have a Gastrodon. Why'd they shield their Munchlax? Oh, my gosh. That's not the catch you're looking for. Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we will be covering Hisuian Cup, which is pretty much just like Sinnoh Cup from a year ago, but with the addition of a few new Pokemon. And one of those Pokemon we're going to have on our team, it is going to be Hisuian Electrode. So the team that I decided to run with is Hisuian Electrode with a Cresselia and a Bastiodon on the back. I also played a different variation of this team. It was Hisuian Electrode with Froslass and Bastiodon on the back, which is pretty similar to the team I ran in Sinnoh Cup last time around with a Roserade instead of Hisuian Electrode. Something I noticed a lot with this cup is that there are many times where the matchups can feel a little bit rock, paper, scissors, RPS. So I decided to run Hisuian Electrode in this lead here. And the lead with Hisuian Electrode is really strong in my opinion because there's not too many Pokemon that wall it off, which means that you're playing more of an ABA style and you could potentially win switch advantage with it in the lead or win shield advantage at a minimum. And if you could build your advantages like that early on, then you have a lot more leeway in the back, even if they are running 2 Bastiodon counters in the back or 2 Cresselia or 2 Froslass counters in the back. You essentially rely on your third Pokemon to really help you sweep the back end, even if your second Pokemon does not have too much play. Before we get into the rest of the footage, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access on my strategies and lineups or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the link down below. In the first set of matches, I am going to be using the Cresselia variant just so that you can see how you can see kind of how the matchups differ than when you use Froslass. So here's the difficult part with this lineup is if you run into Froslass leads, you pretty much have a much harder time because you can't really swap out, and Hisuian Electro doesn't do great here, especially if they double shield. So I'm going to take the Shadow Ball, which I know I could handle. Maybe probably worth a shield there, but I'm just going to throw this... what do you call it? I'm going to just throw this Moonblast and put it quite low, and I still have a shield advantage here. So this Froslass array has put in a ton of work into my team. There's really no reason for me to swap out here, so I'm just going to stay in here, and it looks like Cranberry's off. But this is going to be a solid matchup for Bastiodon, but I'm a little worried whatever they have in the back here might be pretty strong against my Bastiodon, or against my Electrode, but let's see how that plays out. Typically speaking, with this variation of the team, you have a much harder time if they are running Froslass in the lead here. But my opponent actually does have Empoleon on the back, so able to farm it down with the Electrode and take it out. So definitely a close one, but you know, don't be surprised if you lose a lot of the Froslass leads with the Cresselia variant. All right, so this is Gastrodon with what I presume at this point in time to be probably double shadowed bite Pokemon. Kind of a cheese comp in some ways, very fast move oriented. I'm going to put my Bastiodon very low on health here just so that the Gastrodon has very minimal farm to win off of. Even if they shield there, I still get a lot of value not having switch advantage. And as you can see here, here comes the second bite user. Now, because they aren't running poison moves, this Electrode is actually not too bad against it. But your Cresselia or your Froslass in back is going to be a little bit tougher. So what you really want is to grab their shields and tank through some of this damage here. And now I come in with the Moonblast. This is going to do a good chunk for neutral. If you're running Froslass, you would be throwing a Avalanche, obviously, which would probably do a little bit more there. So this Gastrodon's coming back in here, and we get to the Energy Ball just in time here. And that is going to take out the Gastrodon. You know, that team itself, you'll probably see a decent amount, but if you play right and you know how to burn their shields early, you're going to have a good spot. All right, Bastiodon. This is a really important one to optimize your charge move timing because you're going to get a lot of charge moves off here with the Electrode. But it is not the most fun matchup for the Electrode. However, you could do quite a bit of damage with these wild charges. I like to mix it up a little bit. Energy Ball, wild charge. First one is best to go Energy Ball, and my opponent can only win that if they decide to shield. But they said get some extra energy here, and then now here comes a Gastrodon here. Double weak to Cresselia in the back there, but that's where the ABA style works out, because typically speaking, Bastiodon would be able to beat the Electrode, but it should have been used for the Cresselia, right? So you're going to find that a lot when you're using this kind of team, because a lot of people are running ABB style teams, and because of that, you have a lot more play with your backline Pokemon. Go straight for the Moonblast here and take out this Gallade. All right, Empoleon. This is where the Cresselia version is a little bit better, because you have one strong check to the Empoleon and one fairly soft check. But the Cresselia, now that it's still in the back there, I have a lot of play against this entire team at the moment, because Bastiodon is going to be very strong for it. But because I swapped out late, they could potentially pivot back over. However, I have 2 wild charges ready on my Electrode here. So I am going to shield this. I want to preserve the health on the Bastiodon in case it has play later. And now I'm going to throw an Energy Ball in case they shield. They do shield, so that's perfect. Now I go for another Energy Ball. I probably should have just gone for the wild charge at this point. Yeah, we're going to shield here and just farm this down. Their Cresselia is a little bit on the lower end, so one wild charge could take it out, but instead they come in with a Grass Knot here. So I'm going to come in with my own Cresselia here. At this point, Cresselia can tank quite a bit, so I'm going to farm up a lot of energy. There's not too many things that could beat this combination of Cresselia and Bastiodon back, besides another full health Bastiodon. That would be a little bit tough, but my opponent does end up letting it go, and it's actually a Gastrodon, so this is perfect. Again, kind of an ABA team. I'm just going to finish off the Bastiodon the Gastrodon with my Bastiodon there. You'll find that a lot of teams are actually quite weak to Hisuian Electrode in the lead, which is quite nice. They'll be weak with like Empoleon. They have like a Bibroll in the back, or a Gastrodon or something like that. Now, this opponent does boost on the very first Night Slash, so that is not fun. This is not a great matchup, but the problem is I have worse matchups in the back here, and they actually double shield. Had they not boosted, they might have not double shielded, but because they boosted there, they're going to save all their energy, and my best chance here is to just take this out with the Bastiodon, shield 2 Earthquakes, and hope that my Cresselia has a lot of play here, or Bastiodon for that matter, because Gliscor is a counter for Bastiodon, and here comes the Toxtricity, that's not fun. And then here is an Empoleon. Obviously, if I am running the Froslass variant, this is much harder, but the problem is I'm still doing resist cycle cuts, and these waterfalls and Hydro Cannons are starting to chunk here, and I do throw another Grass Knot. It is unfortunately not enough to KO. Had that KO'd, maybe I have a small chance, but at this point, because they have a full health Toxtricity, this is kind of tough. So sometimes you run into that if they're running triple Bastiodon counters. Some players do like to run that, and there's not much you can do with the Bastiodon there. You do have to try to kind of sweep with the Cresselia, but it could be a little tough. All right, so against a Cresselia lead here, this is pretty solid. You do a lot of damage to Wild Charge, and you just swap. Typically speaking, I don't really swap out of anything in the lead with this team outside of Grass, and that's about it. With Cresselia in the lead, it's not too bad, so you can still do quite a bit of damage and get a Pokemon out that you might not want to see later. So that's a really good alignment for them, though, so I'm going to come in with a Bastiodon here. I don't really want to take too much bite damage on my Electrode here, and they actually come back in with their own Cresselia, which is kind of curious to me, because this is not a great matchup. So I'm thinking they're maybe even weaker to Bastiodon on the back here. So that is actually going to probably proc my first shield here, just in case they have something really weak to Bastiodon on the back that can potentially utilize this for. All right, so I do come in with the Electrode here, and I'm going to throw Energy Ball right away. Maybe I should just go on for the Wild Charge, because yeah, it's not like they can Powder Snow me down even if I debuff myself. I do go for this Wild Charge here, so that's probably a misplay because I could have saved the shield for my Bastiodon there. But Bastiodon's super bulky, can tank the Shadow Ball pretty comfortably, and getting to the Stone Edge is going to be a race to see who fast moves down each other first, but Bastiodon's super strong and able to take out the Cresselia. All right, this is going to be the Froslass variation of the team. It's a little different, but there's some weaknesses and some strengths to it. I personally like this more. I did not expect a Sludge Bomb. Almost every Drapion in this meta is running Crunch and Aqua Tail, but that puts me in a very, very tough spot. So I'm just going to have to try to finish this off with the Bastiodon here. They are in Avalanche range, so if they choose to swap out here, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to farm up a little extra and then throw the Stone Edge to KO this Drapion, I do have a shield advantage. Shield advantage, Froslass is very, very strong. And here comes an Empoleon, so this is not great. I am going to go straight for this Avalanche here and take it out. They have a shield deficit here, but a good chunk of energy on me. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Balls here. And first one is going to get shielded. Kind of risky to bait there, though, so I didn't really feel like it. I know I get 2 Shadow Balls off either way. And now we come in with the Bastiodon, and Bastiodon can finish off the Empoleon, especially with the shield advantage. All right, Bronzong. So this is kind of an interesting one. You have some play if you can land Wild Charges here. But I'm going to shield this first Side Shock, and we start throwing these Wild Charges. You don't really want this Froslass against it. It's not too bad with Bastiodon, especially the XL variant. The Bulldoze is not nearly as strong as it is against the non-XL variant, so you're just going to tank everything. It could be a Payback as well. This one is running the Bulldoze variation. Payback is going to do very little here. Again, just gotta no shield this, and it's just gonna be a Side Shock, which is fine. Here comes the Toxicroak. I'm just gonna throw one Flamethrower right now because if I don't have Switch Advantage now, I'm not gonna have it later. So now we do have a Froslass Mirror, which is quite nice because I have a slight NG lead, and we got the shield. That's huge. It doesn't matter if they bait us or not. Either way, we get to the next Shadow Ball before they do, and then that's pretty much GG's because this Toxicroak cannot take out my Froslass in time. They're going to drop a Mud Bomb, but that's fine. Even Sludge Bomb, that's fine too, because you could tank it pretty comfortably and take it out with an Avalanche. So, all right, going against another opponent right here is going to be the Lucario. So against Lucario leads, they typically go Power Punch first. If you go Shadow Ball, just keep track of the energy just in case they do it. But you should get to 2 Wild Charges either way. They will CMP on the second Wild Charge, but that's fine. You usually can burn both their shields at this point or win Switch Advantage, so they are going to spend both their shields instead, and you get to Avalanche before they get to the Shadow Ball. So if they throw another move there, it should be just a Power Punch. But unfortunately, this is just a really tough matchup because they just had alignment there. That's one of those teams where I've seen like a few times. They're just super weak to Gastrodon in the lead, but they are playing the odds there, and in that situation, it worked out in the favor. So once in a while, you run to those wonky teams, right? Because a Gastrodon in the lead would just beat the whole team. Or Toxicroak actually has a lot of play too against that team. But that being said, we do run into a Electrode Mirror. And the difference here on this line is because you have the Froslass, it's okay to just safe swap. Typically speaking, in the previous variation with Cresselia, you can just stay in. Now I'm going to just farm down with my Bastiodon. Bastion's going to have a lot of play with that Flamethrower. So in all likelihood, I probably see their third Pokemon instead of their Electrode. I'm going to take a lot of damage here though, but actually no. I guess I get a slight NG lead. I'd rather have a slight NG lead here, I guess. Let's see what they come in with. They actually have a Drifblim. This is really nice. I'm going to throw this Wild Charge before they can swap out here, and that puts me in a really good spot because now we're just going to start whittling down this Electrode. I do have a Flamethrower ready, and they kind of have to throw the energy to take me out. They can't really Thunder Shock me down here, so puts me in a really good spot, and I'm just going to go straight for the Wild Charge to take it out. But yeah, like I said, in my personal opinion, I like the Froslass variation more, but a lot of my patrons actually like the Cresselia version as well. So both are quite viable. Just want to showcase kind of different ways to play it out. So another Gastrodon and Double Dark Bite users team. Obviously, at the time, I didn't realize it until I started seeing the bites. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Typically, you want to get a shield advantage here against when they swap in, or you want to win Switch. So throwing 2 Wild Charges will guarantee you win Switch, and if that's the case, you just win. And if you get a shield advantage, that's fine too. Puts you in a pretty good spot here. And now going to come in and just whittle this down as much as possible. I think I'm actually going to come in Froslass. Froslass makes a little more sense because you want the energy lead here against their backline. And here comes their first shield. And then now we are just going to throw this Wild Charge as soon as possible. It's okay if they bite us down. I know it doesn't take them out, but I don't want to have to burn a shield there. I'm going to burn my first shield here though. And then now having a shield remaining for the Gastrodon, I should be a-okay. Yeah, so we're going to shield the Body Slam here. Probably CMP here or just fast move down. But yeah, we're going to throw a charge move. It probably wasn't CMP. Actually, I was probably a turn off. All right, Abomasnow. Abomasnow, typically speaking, if you run into a grass lead, you just stay in. or sorry, you swap out, and that's going to be the case with Froslass variation as well as a Cresselia variation. And with Powder Snow, you definitely want to swap out. And they actually come in with a Gastrodon here. This is actually kind of nice because you get rid of one of the hardest counters to Bastiodon. My guess is they have 2 Bastiodon counters in the back. So winning Switch here is pretty crucial if you could get it. And we do get Switch advantage there, which is pretty nice. And so here comes the second Bastiodon counter. However, Gallade with a shield with energy advantage is a little bit tough still. So they are going to throw a close combat here in all likelihood to KO me. And then now I have a Bastiodon and I have to worry about a Gallade here. But they are throwing close combats. These are resisted, but double debuff. That's going to be kind of tough. I think I do live this close combat, especially with the non-shadow variant. But it actually ends up being just a Leaf Blade because they didn't have enough energy. And they concede right there. Anyway, overall, I think the team is a ton of fun and I highly recommend it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.